Let me ask you something strange. Imagine you walk into a coffee shop. A regular coffee costs $2, but there's a premium reserve single origin hand-poured coffee for $7. You don't even really know what single origin means, but something inside you says, get the $7 one. Now here's the weird part. You're not trying to waste money. You're actually someone who reads about saving money, thinks about budgeting, maybe even has a spreadsheet somewhere. And yet, in that one small moment, your brain quietly convinced you to spend 3 times more than you needed to. This happens to almost everyone, and it's not about willpower. It's not about being careless or irresponsible. It's actually about how your brain was built. Because the truth is, your brain was never designed to build wealth. It was designed to survive. And those two things are very, very different goals. Here's what most people believe about money problems. They think it comes down to math. You earn money, you spend less than you earn, you save the difference. Simple. And if you're struggling financially, people assume you just don't understand the math well enough. So they say things like, just make a budget, or stop buying things you don't need. But if it were that simple, why do so many people who know the math still struggle? Why do doctors go broke? Why do lottery winners end up poor within a few years? Why do people earning double what they made 5 years ago still feel like they have nothing left at the end of the month? The answer isn't in the math. The answer is in the brain. Because between the moment you earn money and the moment you decide what to do with it, your mind runs through a set of deeply wired psychological programs. Programs that were useful thousands of years ago, but today quietly work against your financial life every single day. And the scary part? You don't even notice them running. Let's go back about 50,000 years. Your ancestors lived in a world where resources were unpredictable. Food could be gone tomorrow. Winter came without warning. If you found something valuable, you used it immediately. Saving for later was almost pointless because there was no guarantee of a later. So the brain evolved a simple rule: consume now. Use what you have. Get the reward immediately. Fast forward to today, and that same brain is sitting in a shopping mall, scrolling through an online store at midnight, or standing in front of that coffee menu. The environment is completely different, but the wiring is exactly the same. Psychologists call this present bias. It's the brain's strong preference for immediate rewards over future rewards. And it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It affects everyone. Here's a classic example. Researchers asked people a simple question. Would you rather have $100 today or $110 in 1 week? Most people chose the $100 today. Now, logically, that makes no sense. $10 extra in 1 week is a 10% return in 7 days. Banks don't offer that in a year. But the brain doesn't care about logic. It cares about now. And this shows up in real life constantly. You tell yourself you'll start saving next month. You decide to treat yourself today because you worked hard this week. You skip adding money to your investment account because, well, life is short and you want to enjoy it now. All of that is present bias at work. But that's just the first program running in the background. There are others. The second one is called loss aversion, and it might be the most powerful psychological force in your financial life. Here's what it means. Losing something hurts about twice as much as gaining the same thing feels good. Losing $20 feels roughly twice as painful as finding $20 feels exciting. Think about that for a second. Your brain is not neutral about gains and losses. It is dramatically more sensitive to loss. Now you might think, okay, that would make me more careful with money, right? If losing hurts more, I'd be extra cautious. But it actually works the opposite way in many situations. When people feel like they're already behind on money, their brain panics. And when the brain panics, it does something strange. It starts taking bigger risks, not smaller ones. It's the same reason people who are down money at a casino keep betting instead of walking away. They're not chasing a win. They're trying to escape a loss. And that feeling is so powerful, it overrides rational thinking completely. This also shows up in everyday decisions. You keep a bad subscription because it feels like canceling it is admitting you wasted money on it. You hold on to an investment that's clearly going nowhere because selling it makes the loss feel real. You avoid looking at your bank account because seeing the number feels worse than just not knowing. Loss aversion makes you avoid pain instead of pursue progress, and quietly, it keeps you stuck. The third program is one that almost nobody talks about, but everyone experiences. It's called social comparison. Humans are deeply social creatures. For most of history, your survival depended on your status within a group. Being seen as less than others was a genuine threat. So the brain constantly, automatically compares you to the people around you. And today, that comparison engine is running 24 hours a day. Every social media scroll, every conversation with a coworker, every neighborhood you drive through. The result is something economists call lifestyle inflation. As people earn more money, their idea of what's normal gets more expensive. You get a raise, and suddenly the car you were fine driving feels embarrassing. You earn more, and the apartment that used to feel like enough starts feeling small. You're not being greedy. Your brain is just recalibrating normal based on what it sees around it. And this is the trap. You could double your income and still feel behind because the people you're unconsciously comparing yourself to move the finish line. Now here's the deeper idea, the part most financial advice completely skips. These three things, present bias, loss aversion, and social comparison, don't just make you spend more money. They work together to create something even more dangerous. They make wealth feel impossible to build, even when it's not. Present bias makes you deprioritize saving because the future feels abstract and today feels real. Loss aversion makes you terrified of investing because the possibility of losing feels bigger than the possibility of gaining. Social comparison makes you spend more as you earn more, so the gap between what you earn and what you keep never widens. And then here's the trap inside the trap. The financial industry knows all of this. Stores are designed around present bias. Ads trigger loss aversion. Social media is engineered for social comparison. The system is not neutral. It is actively working with your brain's weaknesses to extract money from you. A sales sign doesn't just tell you something is cheaper. It tells your loss aversion brain that not buying right now means losing the deal. A limited time offer doesn't give you a good deal. It gives you artificial urgency that bypasses your rational thinking. The products placed at eye level, the one-click checkout, the people who bought this also bought that suggestions. These are all carefully designed to make your psychological programs fire as often as possible. You're not bad with money. You're a human being operating in an environment that was carefully designed to exploit your human tendencies. So what do you do about it? The answer is not to fight your brain. You cannot just decide to stop being human. Telling yourself to stop caring about immediate rewards or stop noticing what other people have doesn't work. The research is very clear on this. Willpower is not a long-term strategy. The real strategy is to redesign your environment so that your natural instincts work for you instead of against you. Here's what that actually looks like. For present bias, you stop relying on future motivation. Instead of telling yourself you'll save next month, you automate saving the moment your paycheck arrives. Make the saving happen before your brain even sees the money. What the brain never sees, it never misses. Automatic transfers, automatic investments. Remove the decision entirely. For loss aversion, you reframe the pain. The question is not, what if I lose money investing? The question you should be asking is, what is the guaranteed loss of not investing? Because leaving money in a savings account that earns almost nothing while prices go up every year is a slow, invisible loss. The risk of doing nothing is real. You just can't see it. So make it visible. For social comparison, you change the comparison. Most people compare their spending to people around them. The shift is to start comparing your present self to your future self. Not do I have what they have, but am I closer to where I want to be than I was last month? That one shift changes everything, because suddenly, every time you choose not to spend on something that doesn't matter, you're winning. You're beating yesterday's version of yourself, and that activates something powerful, a different kind of status.
the status of someone who is quietly building something real. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The people who build real wealth over time are not people who earned more than everyone else. They're not people with more willpower or more discipline. They are people who understood one thing. The game is psychological before it's financial. The math of building wealth is genuinely simple. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference consistently. Give it time. That's it. That's the whole formula. But your brain will fight you at every step, not because it's broken, but because it's doing exactly what it evolved to do. Protect you from short-term pain, respond to immediate rewards, keep you socially safe. The brain that kept your ancestors alive is the same brain spending your money today. And once you understand that, something interesting happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking, I just need more discipline, or I just